Welcome back, Wolfpack. Vrolos here, and Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon has been announced. And that's all we know. So this video isn't going to be about Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, but it's going to be about the mysteries that this game announcement leads to, because it's going to be coming out for North America in winter 2015. That's all we know. That's pretty much all we know is it's Super Mystery Dungeon, winter 2015, the end. This video as a news update would be over. But we need to look into what this means, because it looks like there's not going to be a main series game for 2015. And now the plot thickens. So I've already done a video about what the 7th generation could be, and I'm calling it. I do not believe in a Pokemon Z version. I don't believe in X and Y2. Like, every time I see any kind of article about that, I immediately go, nope, that's just completely incorrect. I just don't feel that there's going to be a game. I did a video describing why. So now it just looks like we might be seeing 7th gen next year around winterish, and that's kind of it. But Super Mystery Dungeon being announced is also a really good thing, because I'm a fan of Mystery Dungeon to a degree. Like, I played the first 2 series of Mystery Dungeon. I didn't do Gates to Infinity, but I heard from like all the hardcore Mystery Dungeon fans that Gates to Infinity sucked. So they are looking forward to Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Again, I didn't play it, but I'm just hearing from a lot of people that they are excited for this to not be as bad as Gates to Infinity. I enjoyed the Mystery Dungeon games, like the first series, Red Rescue Team or Blue, or whichever one was for the DS. I played that game non-stop because it was very fun, but then it kind of got samey, and the story does involve you really well, but the replay value on it isn't as high as I'd like to be because it gets too grindy, but it's still a very good series. Anyway, so that just brings us to the next thing. What does that mean? What's next for Pokemon? Because Super Mystery Dungeon means 2015, most likely no other main series game, because why are you going to do Mystery Dungeon in 7th gen? Why are you going to do Mystery Dungeon Pokemon Z version? Like, I just have the Pokemon Z thing because a lot of people are calling for it, and I don't feel Pokemon Z is going to work out. Now, there is the thing about Volcanion, that we are getting all this Hoopa information coming through, and it does give us a decent amount of time to maybe just pump out Volcanion. I think that's how you pronounce it. I don't know. I don't look into these things too much. It's an unreleased Pokemon. It's whatever to me until we at least get some information on it. We have a year to hear about this Pokemon, and then we could still get 7th generation around fall, winter next year. So I feel that the Volcanion thing doesn't really make it to, like, why release an entire Z version just to make this go? Also, I think there are some moves that are, like, exclusives and stuff, but again, game patches would be much better to do than make an entirely new game when you could be working on a 7th generation. I feel that 6th gen has already fizzled out, and that's one of the things. So let me go and pull up my handy dandy Pokemon timeline. And now that we know what's going on here, pretty much, it hasn't been absolutely confirmed that there's no game for 2015, but odds are that's what it's looking like. So when we go into all these things, let's go and look at just the last couple years. Platinum, Soul Silver, Black and White, no game. Black and White 2, XY, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, no game. So 3 games into a no game does make a lot of sense, and in 2016 could be a new game. And even then, we're looking like, okay, Black and White, 5th generation, 1, 2, 3, boom, 3 years X and Y, 1, 2, 3. If we get a nice little rush, like I feel it got really interesting because, like, Diamond Pearl, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 4 years between Diamond Pearl and Black and White. And also with the way that, like, everyone's getting a simultaneous release, it does kind of speed up a lot of this. And it is interesting, because I will say 6th generation was a lot more fleshed out than 5th gen, but at the same time, it died off really quick. So maybe Pokemon might just want to go Black-White into XY, or 5th gen to 6th gen like the 6th and the 7th. So this could be pretty good. If not, it'll be Pokemon Z version, because I still feel that it'd be Z over X and Y too. Like, they only did Black 2, White 2 just to mix it up. They're not going to mix it up anymore. It's going to be Z version, and I doubt that they're even going to do that. So then 2017 will be 7th gen at the latest. But then it feels like that's too many years when Pokemon's big right now. Pokemon is coming back, I feel that. You know, Pokemon is selling more games than they have in the past. Like, they're always crushing it. And also with PokeTubing and everyone, like, being more online driven right now, the hype for Pokemon is pretty real. It's not like original late 1990s, like 1999 Pokemon. But it's still looking pretty good. So I mean, you're wasting opportunities by not making a new game that everyone wants in 2016. Even though 2015 looks pretty dead right now, but we are getting a Mystery Dungeon. So at least there's going to be a big Pokemon game that isn't like some kind of mini-series. Like, it's still a very standout series for Pokemon, and then we'll see what they have for 2016. Maybe it'll just, I don't know. We can't even make anything, but that's what I'm feeling right now. Also, I do want to pull up, if I can find it, another handy dandy thing for my 7th gen. Like, I feel this is kind of a place to make, like, this is more based off of my 7th generation video, so if you haven't watched that, maybe you can watch it afterwards and some things might make more sense, because it looks like I was really hopeful. I was really hoping for 7th gen this year. That's not happening, and then I'm just trying to look for the other pieces to make this come together. And one of my biggest things right here is there's been a lot of demand for people to remake Ruby Sapphire on social media. This is an interview with Masuda, I believe. Yeah, Pokemon Director explains. And then right here, right now, felt like a good time to do it. Instead of doing a direct sequel to X and Y, we're tying it together in some unique ways. The wording here makes me feel like that it's not going, like, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire was intended to be the Z version. Because instead of doing a direct sequel, we're tying it together in unique ways. Unique as in not being a Z version, and still a tie together to be a sequel game while also being a remake. That's just my big thing right there. And we're also in late May. We're starting to get to late May. E3's coming up. What about an E3 Pokemon Z announcement? You know, there's already been a lot of fake leaks, obviously, of Pokemon games and what's going to be at E3. And right here we have a couple of like internet articles that just kind of share sentiments. Pokemon Z E3 2015 release not happening as Nintendo focus on Wii U other 3DS games. Now, I think this title is coming from a standpoint of not really understanding the whole launch cycle for Pokemon. It's just kind of like a hype piece. So I mean, this is not official news in any ways, but at least other people are sharing my sentiments, and at least that E3 isn't going to have a big Pokemon game announcement, because it's just pretty much the way that it is. That this is because the fact that Nintendo never announced anything related to Pokemon during E3. And normally that is because we have Koro. We get Koro on May, we get some kind of late May announcement or mid-June announcement with that Koro, and then we figure out about that. So there's really no point of making anything big at E3 for Pokemon, because you already have huge press in Japan, and you might as well leave Nintendo to pump up their new console or something. So for anything that's holding on, like, well, we still might hear about a new game for E3, or we might hear about Z version on E3. Again, why announce at E3 in June if you're going to probably have the game in 2016? Why announce Pokemon Z version a year and a half in advance? That'd be like the earliest, I think, for any Pokemon game. I just don't, even if it is Pokemon Z, like maybe a 7th gen announcement could be a year and a half, but then I feel like the hype balloons would overinflate and pop by the time the game comes out. So, I feel like it's going to be a quiet E3 for Pokemon, that this is our E3 announcement. Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon is our big E3 for Pokemon, and it's kind of all we're going to get this year, unfortunately, but for some people it's happy. Like, other people don't want to see a 7th gen. I super want to see 7th gen as soon as possible. I was like, dude, let's take a year off of Pokemon. Let's just calm down. Let's burn this game out just a bit, you know, and then when the new game comes out, we'll be even more excited for it, because we're a little tired of Voras, instead of just being like, yeah, let's get to the next one, let's burn that one out. So I feel that there are some mixed opinions, but with the way that Mystery Dungeon is coming through, it's a good announcement. Pokemon, they want to progress other series. It's going to help lay that timeline a bit more, but as for Z version, I'm still not feeling it, and I want that opinion to be known for me, so that way when Pokemon 7th Gen comes out next year, I can say, I called it. But on that, you know, tell me what you guys think. There's a lot of speculation open, we still have some time, you know, timelines are all over the place, and it is still something very interesting, so we could, I'm hoping for maybe even a summer release. If we see a summer release on the new game, that could be something different, and it still is very possible. Like, Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon releases, we might hear some suddenly in December, suddenly in January. Oh, by the way, 7th Gen's coming out as well. So, E3, I'm just trying to, like, deflate the hype balloons just a bit with this video, though. Like, Super Mystery Dungeon shows 2015 probably going to be a dry year for a main series game. E3, don't expect E3 announcements. Just as like also a PSA, don't fall into false hype, guys. Be skeptical of Pokemon Z version because of all the other things that are going on, but at the same time, be hopeful for something big in Pokemon very soon. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you all have a nice day.